Yeah, it'd be even more. I think we'd have to get some team comms in a PUBG game if that was actually going to work out. We should be ready here in any second, so the BSing can conclude. Again, Nouns versus Complexity. Complexity taking map 1 Ancient 1613. Anything can happen here on Anubis, the newest map in the pool. Honestly, one of the prettiest as well, might I add. Complexity starting on the defense. Nouns electing to start on the T side once more. Can Complexity sweep it in two, or can Nouns send this off?
Don't doubt the Nouns right now. That's going to be my number one thing. Can Complexity hold out? Nick and Markey, there's two, make it three. Great entries in on B. JT holding the line, Floppy on a long rotation. JT, one strike. There's a long road back in. He does have a kit, but there's 4 alive for the Nouns. Swarming this B site, playing the close range angles with the Glocks, not peeking the USPs. Good discipline coming in from Carson's boys. And well, let's see if there's anything that Complexity can do back in. No, they're calling it quits. They're bailing out. And they want nothing to do with it. Nouns are going to win the first pistol round here on Anubis. With a very fiery start. Marky with some great entries. And well, Nate, that is a good start from Nouns. Quite the opposite from Complexity.
What was the most difficult thing for Nouns in their last map played? Oh, Floppy falls in the water. Marky takes him down. No Kevlar save. But what was the most difficult thing, Boggs, if you recall? It was planting on B. They always went A. They always split A from middle. Nouns. And in the pistol round, they very quickly and succinctly take that B bomb site instead.
Yeah, that's a good start, and the shots were there too for him. That's really what opened it up. With the Glocks, you have to be able to win those early duels, and they did just that. They closed the gap, and they picked up the pace there on that take. Now they've gone back towards one of their classics, their A site. I want to call it an A default, but they don't spread out anywhere else. They just go down canal and get ready to entry in towards A. I don't know if Complexity even had time to get an eye on what's going on here either. Utility going to flood in the site here for Nouns as the Complexity Force has zero visual on what's going on the site proper. Counter utility going in. A little bit more coming back the other direction. JT boosted up over the smoke. Could yield a kill, but he gets spotted by CJ. It's a good start here for Nouns. The bomb goes down. Carson pushes in. Grim only one. B Wills will finish off Halzerk. Floppy tag down low. Legion Floppy electing to save. And a 2-0 start for Nouns with a very good chance for a 3-0 start too. Maybe some reasons to feel Nouns-ish very early on.
We are beating that joke to death, aren't we? Said it quite a bit.
It's their tagline.
It's their tagline, that's true. It is low-hanging fruit, and I am a fruit enjoyer. Floppy and a leash.
What's your favorite fruit?
Oh my god, that is such a stacked and boring answer, Boggs. I'll give you one guess. How about that? I'll give you one guess.
Here, don't include berries. Give me your favorite fruit.
Boggs, you're really overthinking this right now.
I don't know, mango?
Boggs.
What else is there? Apples. You're a Granny Smith fan.
Yeah, I'm a big apple fan.
I'm more like a pineapple fan.
I'm a pineapple enjoyer. Yes, you got it. You got it. It took 3 or 4. We got there. I got there. I'm hoping that was an elaborate bit. I really, really am.
You got me.
Thank God. I was rethinking everything right there, Bucks.
Yeah, no, I was honestly more or less thinking what mine is.
I was gonna say you should probably be filibustering as long as possible to figure it out for yourself, because mine is a free answer. Yours is.
Yours is. I don't know what mine is, honestly.
It's not on brand for me to answer anything else, unfortunately.
Yeah, I don't think you're contractually allowed to.
Yeah. Definitely not. Very slow round, though, from Nouns. Minute 10, minute 9. Thereabouts. Trying to figure out where these pistols are, where the stack might be lurking. They'll finally make a choice. It's going to be in towards B, which is very encouraging to me because they struggled so much taking the site against M80. This, I was gonna say clean, but Elijah beheads CJ and Scrappy over towards the halls over here as well. Towards Temple. 3 kills though away. 3 kills go the way of Nouns, excuse me, and the 4th quick to follow. CJ and Carson casualties, but that is the cost of doing business for Nouns on the attacking side. Complexity though, they do away with the secondary weapons. They go all in for the primaries. No op for Halzerk. They're going for the full M4 setup. Nouns. 3 AKs and 2 Galils on the other side of the equation.
No ops yet. That's a interesting thing to keep an eye on. Well, another slow round of the start from Nouns. 3-2 split, heading in towards A. They have definitely changed their default on this map from their first game this day.
It was M80 scaring them into those kind of stacks. I'm glad to see them go back to running the motions.
Yeah, following the protocols that exist.
They made an abandon, but yes, that they made originally, yeah. It's perfect.
Yeah, I mean, M80's counter was perfect for it. Complexity haven't tried it. And now they've lost to Liege. So, goes from bad to worse in the start here for Complexity. No attempt at a refrag at all. JT maybe won, but he's going to be out in the open, dodging the flashes. A very vulnerable position, but Grim with 2. Floppy another. He's heating up early. He doubles up. That's a key to victory for Complexity right there. He's doing some good work. Now, here's a problem. Free bomb plant for Carson. That's extra money for the T side, and a technically winnable 1v3 for the in-game leader of Nouns.
Numbers might do him in, though. He has to make a choice. He has to find a clean duel and quickly. Grim towards Deppel's just going to bide his time, wait for this flank to come through in towards E-Box. Floppy taking point selflessly, as you would expect by the player on 10 HP. Carson all in on the long angle, hoping for someone to come down below. It's not the case. Floppy, the point man, finds the dink and the kill. And the defuse by the Opera of Halzerk. 1-3. They're on the board at long last. And they keep 3 players up as well, which is pretty good all things considered. But that was the bonus round for Nouns. Carson's a little bit low, but should be able to get it by across the line for the most part.
They should be able to get it across the line here, and they will. Galil on Carson, but he wants the extra util. Understandably so. Still no... Oh, Cynic does have that op, so yeah, there's the op out. Although Cynic did not exactly have a fun time with it on Anubis earlier against M80. So we'll see if he can do a little better this time around. He's been getting more and more comfortable as these games have wore on. I think he's improved every single map so far, just getting back into the swing of things. It was a pretty interesting announcement where it's like, oh, Cynic got announced, and then a little bit later, okay, it's time to play in the qualifier. I don't know how long they've had it behind the scenes, but...
Not like 2 weeks, I think is what they said. They've been practicing for 2 weeks. They've not played ECL yet.
No.
So it's clear they've been putting in the work behind the scenes. Wise scheduling there, I would say.
And NA scrims are a different breed. Nice for Floppy. Good flash in.
Very good flash. Floppy finds 2 yet again. It's the second round. They just found 2 in towards the A main side of things. Halzerk is here. His teammate hasn't hit it in as well from the exit sign, and Halzerk, he will burn by B-Will's hands, but not before dropping Carson in the meanwhile. Maintaining an advantage 3 versus 2. Elige, back sight, should be the one to find it next. No, it's B-Wills inching forward to find the headshot instead. Grim, though. He has him boxed in, but he's also boxed in kind. Who's behind him? Is there a player lying down, perhaps? Plant caught. That was B-Will's dispatched by Grim.
Was that before or after time?
I think I heard a tick in chat that was rather early in the round, but after utility was thrown.
Yeah, I think because they had a DC.
That's probably what it was, and that's why I was so confused. It's like it's a 2v2, and there's a person on the map behind them. Is he smoked off? I don't know what was going on, but that definitely makes sense. That's why we heard that chat message come through.
Yeah, Marky DC'd. So we're going to be on a technical pause as evidenced by the lack of a marquee. Understandable technical pause here.
Should be
We'll
back
see how
soon.
long it takes to get everything reset.
Hopefully not long.
I don't think we're going to get a round reset. But we'll see.
Definitely see. Either way, I think both teams are looking better than they did on Ancient. That is the way I'll phrase it. Very
I would agree.
exacting. Complexity still somewhat worrying signs to me. I feel like they were slow to respond. They didn't do their due diligence in researching for these matchups potentially because they are more internationally focused. But I do think they are at the very least looking more astute and more in practice. Nouns as well. That early start was quite good. The individuals are firing off, specifically B Wills. I think he's been a rock for this team throughout the entirety of day one in this closed qualifier. Everybody else has been having their moments as well. Carson, Cynic. Cynic not totally flawless with the op yet, still missing some shots that he should be hitting, but for the most part he is slotting in quite well, given the lack of time.
Yeah, he is. And again, it's good to see him get better and better, more and more comfortable as time wears on. Definitely getting a flurry of matches to get more and more integrated into the roster, into the lineup, and then back into the swing of competitive Counter-Strike. And not an easy tournament to get thrown into either. A close qualifier up against M80 and Complexity, who you could argue are teams 1 and 2 in North America, just depending on where you put EG 1 and 3, or 2 and 3, although I don't know if anyone necessarily rates EG above Complexity, although right now I think Complexity is making a very good case for that case. However, I will say, too, I've been very happy with how Carson's been playing while weathering the role of in-game leader. He doesn't look like he's taking too much of an individual hit. He's still making good plays, and I would say his in-game leading has not left too much to be desired, considering he's only been doing it for a little bit. And Nouns don't really seem to have changed their identity all too much.
Yeah, I'll be honest. When we talked about Carson first joining this team, it's been so long now. But I had a very lukewarm reception to it. And honestly, for a long while, I had a very, very dismal outlook on the move, even after he had played for a good while. I feel like as an IGL, or I feel like before he became an IGL, first off, he did slot in better. He did become a better overall component of this team. But I feel at least in the short term as an IGL, he's looking far more cognizant of his individual positioning and of his utility. And he might have a little bit of a hit here and there, but for the most part, it feels like he's playing as good, if not even better, Counter-Strike because he's much more mindful of the proper way to play the game at a macro level.
Yeah. There's a couple players who really do seem to be better once they actually take over the IGLing reins. And I would say that Cynic actually improved significantly when he took over those reins. Now, when you remove that constraint from him and give him a rifle, I feel like he is at his best. But we'll see how Carson grows as a player, given the opportunity to in-game lead with all that extra responsibility and cerebral aspect to it. Markey has returned, though. He's back in action. And let's see what's going to happen here.
Probably a save.
Maybe a couple upgrades. B-Wills, Cynic, potentially Markey.
Flashes,
Yeah,
ooh.
Markey's got a P2.
Got a P250 and 2 flashes. Maybe a pop play of sorts. Maybe a play very similar to the pistol round where they just press down canals, split in towards B, and hope the numbers game works out. Maybe even a play towards the middle. Flashes lined up. Alicia's the one here. Will he be ready for this onslaught of players? Smoke and hand. Ooh, timing's everything here. He'll throw the smoke, but they're going to get in front of it. They're going to race forward. Only 2 players to defend. Elise pushing forward. The numbers should do him in. He finds 1. Halzerk is here in the back lines to try and hold things down. He will find 3, and that is enough. He bought enough time for Floppy to rotate up through the exit sign. Complexity is a synced third, but at the cost of 2 players.
Tied up, though, and that's good for Complexity early on. We'll see if they can get this one back in here. A lead would be critical for Complexity at this stage. You don't want to let Nouns get more and more confidence in the early going on map 2. See if they can shut down Nouns before they get going, really. Although Nouns, they've been able to come back while taking some beatings. So you can say they're very resilient, very elastic in the mentality. Just not sure what their Anubis is going to have in store for us, especially once they swap over to that CT side. It's where things went from bad to worse for them against M80.
Definitely was that learning curve on the CT side. It did feel much more sluggish and reactionary. I think is what they're going for. They're trying to hedge their bets no matter what happened in the round by just stacking middle. So very transparent in that one. CJ and Carson buying 2 for the price of 1. Floppy offers some resistance, but only a feeble amount towards exit. Good trades across the board, but the trades only favor Nouns. 2 versus 1 and Grim on 11 HP. Have to make some fancy footwork, some fancy moves if he wants to pull off this clutch.
Might get gifted, but Carson will body shot him. Good adjustment there. Nouns retain their lead. Much, much stronger from them. They're only going to get better and better. Complexity's money is also at a point where they can't really reinvest. A couple upgraded pistols, a Legion on a P250. Grim can get a significant upgrade if he wanted to. But it looks like he's going to save to get an op in Halzerk's hands in the following round. 3 flashes of smoke for Complexity, that one P250. Spam goes down range. CJ 2 while blind. Third. The job's been finished. Hills mops up another. 3K as a matter of fact. Only 1 casualty for Nouns. More than acceptable. Now they've got a 2-round lead back again before Complexity can reinvest, and Complexity aren't going to have the best buy again. This is another situation where they're going to be a little bit limited in a couple of players.
Yes, they are. I want to see an adjustment coming out of the defense now. I want to see Elige perhaps playing a little bit more passive or with a little bit more support. Someone else throwing that smoke for him so he can stay up close and not get caught in rotation. I see Halzer with the op do something audacious, something a little bit aggressive like this, playing towards pizza. It's a different look from Complexity is exactly what I'm asking for. Nouns, again, aggressive towards middle. This time Elige is playing in towards exit sign. This is an appropriate something different, something fresh, something new. Dean and Floppy are kind of discussing, kind of meandering back and forth, and that might give an opportunity to Nouns. That smoke is down just in the nick of time. They dilly-dallied any longer before they could have pressed forward. Elige, he's the one to open things up, though, back towards the middle. Goes up Carson, he'll spot 2 more, but stuck between 2. He just can't find it, can't focus enough. It's CJ and B-Wills to drop JT and Elige. Floppy towards the main finds 1, but Cynic is quick with the zoom banger. Maintaining a lead for the offense. Halzerk and Grim both trying to rotate in, but it's not going to be easy.
Bomb has been planted.
Definitely not going to be easy. No kid either means it might just be a save call right off the rip, and that seems to be the case here. Complexity going down 3, so it's been 3 to start the half for Nouns, then 3 to respond by Complexity, and then 3 back the way of the Nouns. 6 rounds of the T side of Anubis. It's already good. It's only going to get better from here for Nouns. And for Complexity, I would say it's timeout time. Not the technical kind, the tactical kind, and we still haven't come up with an alternative name for technical classes.
That's a good point.
I think the teams need to use the tacticals before we can come up with an alternative.
Okay, that's a bit of shade. I think we do have some more thinking people in the chat though this time around. So let's reiterate what we were talking about. We think technical and tactical sound too close to each other, 2 T words, tech, you know. We need something to replace technical. We've decided that tactical, too cool to get rid of. We need something for technical though, something different, something that sounds different. Preferably 1 syllable to be shortened to, that we can still use that means the same thing. I don't want to get out the thesaurus. I want people to get creative.
I second that.
And we will also take full, what's it called, credit for the word made or word discovered. Good peek. Not even peek. Good awareness and crosshair placement from Halzerk. He shot the hand off CJ, and that is a mortal wound by most metrics. Carson, meanwhile, pressuring out towards A main, looks for something.
Look at the bomb.
Bomb is in T-spawn.
And look at Elige.
They were too busy thinking up words for technical. They were too busy thinking up words.
Yeah.
Evidently,
Elige has to know.
Yeah, he definitely knows. There's no doubt. He's holding that thing down. Last two, Carson and Marky playing for duels, hoping to find an opening. He's, you know, more even footing. No chance, though. Carson, the IGL. 21 HP, playing around the site. I don't think Floppy's too keen on giving him the duel either.
Wisely so. No real reason not to. Or no real reason to give him the fight. Every reason not to give him the fight. He takes a timing one and wins it there. Now, each team has been stuck on 3-round streak so far. Can Complexity tie it back up at 6 apiece? We'll find out. Double op set up a leash on the secondary?
Ooh, what if they just do like lines of fire? You know, like civil, like old-timey style, where they one line fires, then
Like
crouches.
Revolutionary War?
Yeah, Revolutionary War, like all those wars.
Napoleon.
Yeah. Black powder.
Just
That's what I'm looking for.
firing squads. Firing lines.
Firing lines. There we go. A 1
The
and
only
2 in the
problem
middle.
is they don't really have. Oh, actually, yeah, good. Well, one's rechambering. The next guy goes in front, takes the
Yeah,
shot,
yeah, that's what I was
swap
going
it
for.
out.
That's what I'm
I love
thinking.
what you're still going for there.
Yeah. But it's not going to be the case. Instead, Halzer's going to play over towards A, back behind the pillar, and it does work out again. He holds these niche angles incredibly well. He'll drop Cynic. He'll press forward as well with that smoke, finding Carson. And now it's Luigi's turn. He has the option in hand. He's doing his best Halzer compression. He'll find one. He'll find two, trading out Floppy. And I had some questions for the double op setup. Why weren't they playing firing line style? Why weren't they together? Will it work? Was probably the last thing on my mind, but it definitely did work.
Yeah, it worked out well. The Ops getting all 4 kills so far, maybe even all 5, depending on how things go. Elige is on the right angle for that 5th, if things go his way. Marky might just save, too. He seems to have no mind to go for this. He's sitting back, relaxing, not enjoying the ride, but he'll take one down the river Styx anyways. Elige with 3, Halzer with 2. And they decided not to go for the firing line. Instead, they went for a more modern artillery Maginot line, Nate. And
Those
there
words
was no
scare
Ardennes
me.
for them to get around.
Those are a lot of big words very quickly. A smattering of them, in fact. And I need to brush up my Arma vernacular to get into that. But most important thing, Complexity looking keen on tying things up. They saw that double op. Granted, the surprise factor's gone, but it shouldn't be too much of an issue. Granted that they're against pistols. The issue is the pistols have found surprising amounts of damage by playing the numbers game. Complexity need to play further back as to not get their firing lines overwhelmed. Good start. Grim finding one, as is the Apple Halzerk. Grim caught between two. He finds them both. No issue there at range against Glocks. At least just Marky with the Deagle. He might find a parting kill onto one. Anything beyond that seems like false reality. He finds nothing. Floppy ties things up, finding the final kill. 6 apiece. As we mentioned, this is a relatively T-sided map.
At least for these two teams. Well, more so for Nouns. Complexity has 1 map played, and they only lost 2 rounds. So, there is that. But Complexity have achieved that 3-round streak again. Nouns going to try and claw back into it. They need to get a few more rounds out of this half, given their history. Halzerk boosted up, takes the shot, he gets the cap instead. So low health. Carson can't finish the job. Spray will not. Grim, though. He's going to get tested in towards E-Box. Needs to get a couple out of this one. Drops the smoke instead. It's going to go too deep, but he's still going to win that first fight. And maybe a second. No. Flash in. Blinds Grim. Carson helping himself out. Elige, though, with that secondary op sitting around the site. Peeks out towards main. Gets the first. Goes for more. Got 2. Can he get 3? Yes, he can. 1 more left for Elige. He's hungry. He's hangry. But JT steals his final meal.
Elige on his Opera arc. Not something I expected
Oh,
to
good.
see. I didn't expect the ball dark either, to be fair.
That is also true.
But they're interesting times, trying times, and you know what they say about trying times, Boggs?
They make strong men.
Yeah, that's what I was going for. I'm surprised you got
which
that one.
create
That's great.
Good times, which create weak men, which create trying times.
Yeah. It's circular, really. Find a lot of things are.
It's cyclical.
Cyclical, yep. Pistols again trying to rush down middle, but Complexity have adjusted well, this time stationing JT to support the op of the lead. Nouns try to race in towards A, instead shifting gears after that initial barrage of bullets, and he's just B-Wills alone, trying to do the very same, but so disjointed he's caught alone. Afraid and alone, might I add, as Grim shoots him from around the side of that archway. 8-6 Complexity, stabilizing in a big way. I haven't felt this comfortable about a lead they've built in this whole series, in this whole day, I would say.
I would agree. They're starting to look stronger and stronger. And also, one of our friendly chatters has suggested an oops timeout.
Oops, that's a really good one. I saw mechanical as well. Actually, no, we
Mech
thought of
timeout?
those. Mech timeout for mechanical, the oops timeout for a technical issue.
I
these are
kind of
coming
like
off of-
oops.
I like oops.
I really like oops.
How do you get here? All the way down canals, he finds 2 B-Wills. Drops Grim as a good trade, and there's the hold for the rotation. We were just praising Complexity for building the CT defensive half and finally finding their footing, and Nouns look to take it right out from under them. 7-8 couldn't be more contentious. We'll see if Complexity can sweep it out 2-0 or send us to Inferno. Either way, we'll see you after the break.
Complexity built up a very strong 8-6 lead, and we thought they were going to waltz to a 9-6, but Nouns struck right back, taking it to as close as you can get. Boggs and Pineapple Phillips on the mic here, and Complexity starting to charge in towards B as well, trying to recreate what Nouns did so successfully 15 rounds ago. Elige with the double entry. Marky traded back. B was on rotation, and CJ catches Elige, punishing him. No bomb plant yet for Complexity. Hauser punching those digits in, getting the bomb down the ground. Floppy swings out. Cynic goes down, but CJ trades him back. Grim with one more. Up to B Wills. He's been good, but not good enough this round. Complexity, critical pistol to go forward with a lead here in half number 2 on the T side of Anubis. Looking to not falter and fall down to map number 3. Looking to eliminate Nouns here in the lower bracket.
Looking to claw their way back to where they should be, where we expect them to be in those finals. Fighting for that one spot at IEM Sydney. Looking at the investments, it is going to be a forced buy from Nouns. Very similar to what we saw in the first half, all things considered. 3 Galils, a MAC-10, and an AK versus pistols and a lone MP9. Eagle for B-Wills and Carson. Those pistols could be quite scary, especially with the way B-Wills has been playing. Quadruple flash in gives Carson an opportunity. It's not a 1-dig, but it is a kill. Okay, that's a 1-dig. A second secured before he's finally unseated. But he's bought a whole bunch of time and also secured the kills. Floppy now pairing about the flank towards the E-box could very well get caught by B-Wills if he's not careful. Time with everything. The Eagle in hand does damage, but doesn't get the outright kill. A critical one for Floppy to find. But Cynic on the unsuppressed USP, the psychological warfare to find one. Brings us back to even footing. Floppy finds one, Floppy finds 2. Capitalizing in a big way. You said Floppy needed to wake up for Complexity to make this a more one-sided affair, and he has done exactly that. He is atop the board for Complexity as we begin this second half.
Yeah, it's really been a swap where JT has been much more supportive, Floppy's been allowed to frag out, and Complexity are looking much stronger. Grim and Floppy doing their jobs, Hauser being an offer, doing what he's supposed to, Elige also having a little more impact than he did on Ancient. This is exactly the kind of formation Complexity need. Let your fraggers, let your riflers shine. Hauser will do his job more than adequately. Let your rifles, Grim, Floppy, and Elige, do what they do best. Those are 3 good riflers when allowed to flourish. And right now, they are being allowed to be more and more aggressive. JT will get a nice kill as Marky rushes on in. The pistol's out for Nouns, and a wide open A site. Complexity seem to be leaning towards as they slowly meander their way towards the site. Grim, 1 and maybe on the goal. Goes for 3, but he is shut down by the Deagle of B-Wills, combining with Carson's damage on the double peak. Why are you facing in towards B, JT? Just take it safe and sound, buddy. And bomb will go down at the very least. Maybe one more for B-Wills? Maybe. Probably not. Definitely not.
Definitely not. It's over. One player goes down in Grim. That's an acceptable loss against Deagles. That is for certain, especially on the T side, might I add. That one single player loss is definitely more than manageable. Nouns will get their first rifle buy on deck. The op is present for Cynic. 4 A1Ss surrounding decent utility. Glaring issue, Boggs. No kit present for this defense going into the first rifle round.
Always something we like to keep an eye on, especially if it ends up factoring into winning or losing the round. Complexity defaulting out, mid-heavy default as a matter of fact. Not canals, but up the bridge. Bomb to be recovered. B-Will sends a few shots downrange, not connecting on anything. B-Will still peeking, still looking and hoping. CJ. Maybe getting something towards canals, but doesn't seem like anyone wants to peek that direction for Complexity. Slow and steady to kick off this round. A good amount of map control taken by the T's, but they still have to make it work in the end. They still have to hit a site.
Have to choose a direction. This is a play we haven't seen yet today. Wrapping around over towards A for middle. Carson is watching for the possibility. There's an awkward duel. Tries to get the spray. Does good damage onto the second, but can't double down. JT finds a trade. Upgrades his weapon. Is a play into far away, and CJ, well, he was here, and that is a critical not be missing ever. Again, jitters coming out from the offer of Nouns. That shot might have gotten them back into the round, but as it is, a 2 versus 4 seems nigh impossible. Not unless B-Wills, though, can pull off something Herculean, a double kill, line up onto 2. It's suddenly a lot more possible for the defense, especially with Cynic now pressing forward. B-Wills low on HP, but he's a fragging prowess as easy as possible. He spams in, finally caught that Molotov, lands squarely on the bomb as well, and that will be the sign for Cynic to cut ties with the round. Bomb, not long for this world, as it's ticking away. Grim and Floppy win the day, 12-7, a 5-round lead, and the economy of Nouns is left in shambles as the bomb explodes. Around 4K left on most players, a little bit over 3K for Marky. Cynic could drop a rifle to get scrounge something together, but it will not be pretty.
It'll be the opposite of pretty. Or, use pretty as an adjective. Pretty ugly.
Good.
Look at it, though. No kit, scout, 5.7 Deagle MP9.
It's a half by at least.
Rather
I
rough
suppose.
shot.
Chose to bite the bullet now rather than later. I can respect the call, especially when Beal's playing to his strengths with his MP9. Flashing, you spotted. Good shot from Cynic. That drops a liege. I liked his positioning, but double up from Nouns just seems too strong in that specific spot. I don't think B-Wills was spotted either, so he can continue to inch forward. This makes things interesting. The scout of Carson as well, pestering over towards B as the decision has been made. This will be the site of choice. Cynic in the chaos, though, is caught. Carson, again, another tag. Things are becoming more and more doable with each scout shot ringing true. Nouns, they're going to attempt this. Maybe one player will grab the op and get out, but they should be going for this. This is a very, very big opportunity to at least harm this He's Out economy. Halzer will drop CJ. JT finds the second. B-Wills this point so good. And Carson with the scout finds one. Grim towards Pizza. Only good for one as well. It leaves just Floppy alone. And he has been a monster on this second map. He will clutch up. Good spray from him to keep complexity in the driver's seat.
Floppy really putting in the work. Him and Grim trying to pull this team to victory here on map number 2 in the lower bracket of this North American IEM Sydney closed qualifier. Winner of this series will play the loser of M80 versus Forsaken. That one's first map just finished a bit ago. So that series definitely going to go on longer than ours here tonight. The Liege tagged down half. Flash is going in towards A main. Marky prepped with the Molotov. He'll toss it as soon as a bit of information goes his way, besides a flash. JT, not the gift of the shot. He'll just spam, as Halzer's been holding Canals with the bomb. He's been playing rather supportive here, just holding on to the bomb, keeping an eye on an angle, waiting for his rifles to enter into a site. Good protocols in place here for Nouns of this map on the T side.
Happy to sit back, but will strike with an overwhelming force, if necessary. It's real team dad energy.
He does have the mullet.
Does have the mullet. He's lounging back, vibing until necessary. He will. Finds the IGL, though. Lurking around towards A main. Again, looks like another group up potentially for a B split for complexity. It seems well read. CJ drops Floppy. Carson catches one coming out of B main. Alicia's trade, sure, but his teammates have fallen by the wayside, leaving just Halzerk, the team dad. 1 versus 4. He got the first. Okay, he gets the second. A quick one. He could rotate around, but of course he doesn't have the luxury of information that we do. B-Will should have him dead to rights here. 11 times. I said, no way, surely. Yep, there we go. B-Will's a constant for Nouns. I cannot overstate that fact for all of today's matches.
Yeah.
Nouns,
B-Wills is kind of taking over a star player role on this Noun side.
yeah, 20 kills to his name in this one, tied with Floppy. It's crazy how well he's done, how consistently well he's done throughout.
Yeah.
What now? This is map number 4 of the day, and I feel like he's been the exact same rock in every single one.
I agree. He was a big reason why I was so close against M80 in the previous series, and I mean, B-Wills historically has been more of a supportive player. Like, you knew he could rifle if needed, but he was never the guy to kind of be at the top of the scoreboard, or if he was, there was usually a problem. But here on Nouns, he's kind of found his own as a star rifler, and I think that's great. But when you have a guy like Marky, who's at 7 and 16, it's a big issue. Because Marky is a guy you normally look to be a star rifler. Cynic as well, 7 and 14, another rough Anubis map. Maybe this just isn't his map. Maybe he's just not comfortable, but this is a concerning prospect for Nouns, especially considering they're down by 5. And Complexity only need 3 more. They're on Glocks this round, though, so probably no chance of getting much more than a bomb plant. However, Floppy's AK and Grim's Tech 9 might beg to differ.
Saw me a pistol round in the last matchup. Floppy. A step back into the angle to find that. B-Wills is now alone on the platform, playing behind the pillar. Does find quite a few. And there's Marking Wings swinging out after his teammate falls. Leaves just Cynic. Or just Grim, excuse me, to clean up Cynic across the map. A 9th for Nouns. They lose a couple, but they'll be able to reinvest in its entirety. Complexity. They will buy as well. They're making some concessions on this attacking side. Galil for JT. Galil for Floppy. 3 rifles for the remaining trio. There's an opportunity. Nouns win this. They can reset the economy once more. 13-10, 13-11. Things can get interesting.
They can definitely get closer. Nouns have the opportunity. They've put themselves in a position to be able to claw back in. But they still have to execute. Luckily for them, it's not a dice roll. It's essentially down to their own abilities. Now, can they execute upon it? Can they get the job done? Carson around E-Box, going to back away. Very slow round again from Complexity, kind of just stalling out. I want to see a change of pace from them, or a timeout at the very least to discuss things. It would not go amiss here. You have plenty.
Have we seen a timeout yet?
It's the worst that can
In this
happen.
one, we saw a tech. Or a mech, or an oops.
Yes.
Did see one.
Mech just makes me think of like a Gundam.
Yeah. Because think of Armored Core 6 Fires of Rubicon out now, guys.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Hashtag not sponsored.
No, not at all. This is Counter-Strike. There's actual blood, sweat, and tears on the line here. Actual. He will up close. Double with the MP9. Grim finds one short-lived victory. Marky trades it right on back. 4 versus 2. Carson pressuring an E-Box. Finds JT alone, scared and in a corner. It's just Halzerk alone, trying to go into that very same corner. Carson already ready, finding the kill. Final nail in the coffin. The AK picked up. And a 10th. A convincing 10th, might I add, for Nouns.
So where are we going to get a timeout for the next gun round from Complexity? Not this round, because there's no real reason to, given the fact they have no money. But next round, definitely would love to see a timeout. I like the Deagle purchase here. See if they can do a little damage. Full deco. No armor here for the T side, and no utility either. But they can always do some damage. That's what they want. Trim some of the economy off of Nouns. Make them reinvest. So it's going to take a little bit of damage with the Deagle sprays. Carson's going to take out JT. And so far the Deagle's yielding no fruit. Grim, though. Can he find something when this smoke fades? He's lurking out towards B again. He's just looking for a gun upgrade.
I will say the lurks that we've seen throughout this map from Complexity on this attack have felt too disjointed, too delayed, too late, and overly expected. It seems like Nouns are always ready for it. Just holding their bases, covering their angles. And
I agree.
looking a little bit less inspired now. Maybe out of gas. Nouns could very well turn this corner. This is the final real hurdle for them to get back into it. If they can win this one, if they can pass this final trial and tribulation, should have a 12th and probably even a 13th off the back of it.
like a round that maybe Complexity should call a timeout before?
Oh, perhaps, yeah. That would be a... Only someone thought of that.
Yeah, I wonder. You know one thing teams at the top of Counter-Strike use a lot?
What?
Timeouts.
Like I said, someone should have thought about it. Someone should have thought it through. Think it out.
Yep.
Unfortunately for them, I'm not paid to think. I'm paid to speak. Have to be coherent. Hopefully. Is it?
Hopefully.
Probably not. Hopefully. It must be because they're still paying me. What can I say? Still here.
So are Nouns.
They are.
And that's a dangerous spot for Complexity to be in. Not for Nouns to be in. They're the underdogs here. Nouns are just like, all right, we'll stick around it if we can find a way to scrape by with a win. We'll do it. Doesn't have to be pretty, just has to be a W. For Complexity, that needs to be their mindset. They'd be like, it doesn't matter if this is pretty. We just need a win. We just need to win here. Liege takes down CJ, but Cynic right there for the trade, keeping the man advantage towards Nouns. Bomb will not be planted yet, but now it's going to be attempted. Leg shot or some sort of damage onto Cynic. He's down to 31 HP. Bomb ticking away. Now utility flying in. Molotov being extinguished. Liege, a double smoke spray. Marky taking out Halzer, but it's a 2v2. Liege turning the tide. Back to Complexity. He's on for the ace as well. 3 kills in the round. Cynic very low again, as mentioned. Spots out a Liege. It's up to Floppy. He takes both. They line up. And Ricky Floppy Kemery gets him to 14. A huge round for Complexity. But Nouns still have money. I think Complexity can thank their lucky stars. They get blessed with the Liege double smoke spray, and then with Floppy's lineup on the last 2. That is not a round Complexity can count on going their way again. Nouns were set up for the retake.
A complex round made simple by 2 lineups. I'm proud of that one. I really am.
That was good.
Complexity turned a corner in a big way. Might have shaken the confidence of Nouns a little bit there. Nouns surely thought that round was theirs. I feel like they had a very, very solid setup. They were slowly choking Complexity out of the site, and yet 2 lineups do them in. Alzer still has his op. Grim, less than ideal on a Galil. Maybe even less ideal on Mac 10, but make the most of what they have. JT now has Carson stuck behind enemy lines. Things are going to get awkward here real quick. JT puts him down. Grim is second onto CJ in the chaos. That is the B site taken, and cleanly at that. So upgrades on the ground. Marky and B-Will's the last 2. Sure, B-Will's is the powerhouse. Sure, Marky has the op, but 2 versus 5 is not really possible, and they're staring down 15. They have no real choice but to capitulate this round, but to give Complexity map and series point in this lower bracket semifinal. And that would mean we're 1 round away from potential elimination of Nouns.
Yeah, Nouns, they are doing the right thing by saving. They don't save often. They like to go for the aggressive plays, but this is definitely one of those situations where they need to save. I could almost guarantee a timeout being called by them as well. Going to the final round, what could be the final round at any rate. Complexity. Solid with that momentum being gained. Cynic's peak just gets punished by Halzerk and kind of just spirals out of control from there. This buy is going to be scrappy. It's going to be a bit brutal. But they'll get it together nonetheless. Utility on CJ is full. Carson on a FAMAS as well. 2 FAMASes, 2 M4s, the op for Cynic. 3 defuse kits. Always good to see. Utility is solid as well. Aggression perhaps up middle from Cynic. He's sitting behind those flames. CJ might get tested, but Liege does, and he goes down. Good opening from Cynic. Good start for Nouns.
And needed opening as well. The bulk of this take from Complexity is through the main. They'll find one. Carson and Cynic, though, good answers. 2 for 1, essentially. Floppy and Alzerk. Elsewhere on the map now, congregating towards the middle. Found a opening, slipped the gap even. Those 2 players down below might have been able to spot them on the crossing through the drop down. The timing's just not in their favor. They'll get right on by. They could go in towards A. They read this right. They could even blindside through B if they play their cards right. Looks like the blindside through B is the call. A lot of this is on timing. Carson's already wise to the possibility. Going the extra long way around, the extra mile.
Literally.
Oh, they're going back. It's a double fake towards A.
Make it 2 extra miles.
Yeah. At a record-breaking snail's pace. Tension is palpable. They can still definitely pull this off. It's a hands-off policy over towards this site. They'll get the plant down uncontested. The question is, are they going to be wise to this fast push from B-Wills from Carpet? And can they hit their shots / hold their ground versus this very numerous retake?
I don't know. I mean, this Halzerk and Floppy. So 2 very good players to have in the situation. Halzerk's op is solid. Floppy's been on a tear this game. All 4 players come in A main. This is going to be a take. This is going to be a full site take from the CTs. Floppy's coming back. He's getting antsy. Spider senses are tingling. Halzerk's here as well. Molly's not going to be tossed. Halzerk peeks. That shot that's big. Molly out, Floppy down. The nade stack. Diffuse is coming through. Halzerk only 1.
Smoke seals the
Go
deal.
again.
Yep. Stay alive. Nouns past their first trial. But there is another buy on the board for Complexity. Again, I don't think we've seen a timeout from Nouns as of yet.
I don't think we've seen a timeout from either team this game. This map.
I thought we saw one tech, but I could definitely be wrong.
A mech pause doesn't count.
An oops pause, that's correct. Right.
Yeah.
But pressure is mounting.
For both sides.
Nouns is kind of the survival instinct, the adrenaline. Lexity's just getting across that finish line. Getting on to day 2. Pressure is definitely there. Op Halzerk set up in middle, holding towards exit. Looking for one. Eagles knows this. He's just playing hands off. He knows that they probably have an op. Big green in middle. This is the smoke over towards temple side of things. Grim is the one to find the opening. A pressure down through the canals for the CT side. Catches CJ out, leaves the player in the cubby. And in the meanwhile, Halzerk drops B-Wills. A lot for the CTs to do. Carson good for one and only one. Markey trays via Floppy, but it's still an advance for the CT side. Markey in towards main, stuck it alone. He'll find 2 on the A4. And it leaves just Elige. He was middle, and he now has to recover the bomb and by extension the round because he is alone. Markey doesn't know exactly where he is. Cynic is waiting in the wings as well if his teammate goes down. This is a tall order for the newest member of the Complexity lineup. He will walk in. He wants the challenge. He will pass the first. Can he get by the op? The flash will blind him. Well thrown. Good tags. Not quite the kill. Cynic around the pillar. Timing's everything. He misses the shot. Another crucial, critical opportunity that you cannot afford to squander. Squandered by Cynic on the op. That is incredibly unfortunate to see.
It is. It's his first and second best of 3s back in the Nouns lineup and as the primary opper for the first time in a very long time on this team.